Welcome back to the Win with Dice podcast, a podcast featuring members of the Win with Dice team. I'm Calvin, and I'm joined here by Ramon.
Hey guys.
So, Ramon, we recently had a game. We could just roll into that, or we could do some proper intro. But I kind of want to talk about the game because it was really exciting. And I kind of feel like I want to just talk about it immediately, but I don't know. Is there anything else in the week you want to recap? What, like your personal life?
Nah, I didn't really do anything.
Okay, yeah, same. So,
yeah. It was mostly just planning for this. I think like we planned to play like Saturday, so like it was like Wednesday. I was like, oh, are we playing? Okay, cool. I'll figure something out.
Yeah.
and then it was easy, which was weird because it was like man, like I had so much more fun this session than the previous session, personally.
No, I understand that completely. Gosh, I didn't really do anything this week. I mean, I finished Mandalorian. So that was fun.
Cool.
I really want to play Starfinder again. We got to make plans for that because between Mandalorian and I've been playing through Outer Worlds and I've been watching the new Star Trek cartoon. Just really want to play Starfinder and just get into that setting. But no, today we're talking about Pathfinder. So do you want to recap what happened last sesh? I don't have my notes in front of me, so
Calvin takes the notes for my games.
Yeah.
Calvin takes the notes for all of my games. I never take notes. I'm terrible at it.
That's how you kept forgetting Falzor.
Yeah, but it's good too because I also don't make up the names in my game mostly.
Yeah,
it's mostly
that is true.
The players.
You did throw the dragon name to us.
Yeah, for some reason I was like dragon name generator and like Google was just like, you meant Ent, right? I think you meant Ent.
Oh, really? That's what was happening?
Yeah, I was like, and then I tried it 3 times and I was like, I don't know, forget it. I think that you guys would come up with a name that you guys would like anyway, right? So.
Oh, okay. I
it
thought
was
you just
good.
couldn't
It
find one that you liked, so.
Yeah, what was it? Smithorax?
What happened
AKA
is one
Smithy?
person said Smitty, then someone else said Smithsonian, and
Yeah.
I was like, how do I take those and make them an actual dragon name? Just add an X on the end. So
Yes.
Smithsoniax.
Smithsoniax, the fire dragon. Oh, yeah, so. Anyway,
So yeah, the end of the session before, the dragon was awoken.
Yeah. So, you guys chase Falzor to his warehouse where he set a trap. You guys beat Falzor. And then I think I retconned something, which is really nice for you guys. I mean, I always feel like sometimes I write myself into something stupid because it's like at the end of the session. I'm like just like a little bit out of steam and like just like getting to the point where like I don't really like think about it too hard, and I was like, well, it'd be better I think if Falzor was alive because he did give up before trying like suicide bombing himself. It's like, that's stupid. Like he planned for months and he wants to see this to the end, right? So then he's gonna be like kind of like a sniveling coward, be like, no, please take me to Mr. Sonata and I'll you can trade me for your friends, right? Because Mrs. Sonata like kidnapped their friends, and then I pan the camera to Mr. Sonata, and there's Brian. What's her name? What's her name?
Well, I think
Brienne.
I think you originally
Brienne.
named her like Briar or something, but now but then we called her Brian and then Brienne, which apparently is spelled BR''YAN.
Right, so Brienne, pronounced Brian by everybody else.
By everyone else, yeah.
Is she was like the comes from a long from a lineage of this wizard who petrified this dragon in the city before and saved the city, but the only way to undo that wizard's petrification curse was the blood of the one of his kin, right? Turns out Brienne the baker is one of those lineages, like is one of those kin,
Like his descendant.
and then descendant, yeah, that's the word, descendant. And so Mr. Sonata is like stabbed her, splashed the blood onto the dragon. The dragon's like, I'm free, and then started wrecking the place. As
Basically,
you do,
yeah.
because yeah, you're an ancient red dragon who's pissed off, who's been petrified for, you know, a millennia or whatever, or how long, you know, by the same people who just like turned you into like a giant like park statue essentially.
Yeah, I guess that does kind of suck for him, because like, was he, I guess, conscious and aware, or did he just realize what happened like the moment he woke up? Like, they turned me into a park?
Yeah. Sure, I like that one. Oh man, so you know, it was a really nice park, but now that's toasted.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so you know, the city, I mean, this thing's like a huge dragon. It's tearing up the city. Like the Griffin Knights are trying their best. Their like Sky Fortress Golem is trying to like help, and like there's just crazy like air fight going all around you, while like, you know, chunks of their flying fortress gets like rained down. Like the dragon's fire is burning up like half the city, and all your friends are like in the middle of it.
yep.
Right? So you tie up Falzor, and you guys all drag him, and he's like, well, okay, I guess if you're right, Falzor, you guys trusted him enough that, you know, his head honcho will trade him, you know, him being the loyal servant, for your friends.
Yeah, we did do like insight,
Yeah.
sense motive or whatever on him, but I guess he believed that would be the case, so... But even
Yeah.
like, I rolled really low on that, but like, he believed that would be the case, so I guess that's what answer I would have gotten anyway.
Exactly, and like, I don't know, I actually don't know, so like, I always kind of wonder about those sense motive checks. I mean, like, because the fact is that you're rolling and you can see what the result is, that means that, you know, you don't know, like, you would instantly know that, no, that wasn't a very good roll. Obviously, I didn't perceive very well. But, you know, if I tell you, like, the dude's not lying, right, because
Yeah.
it wasn't, you're still going to be like, no, I'm
Suspicious
pretty
of it.
sure he's lying. Yeah, you're going to be suspicious, right?
Yeah, I guess that's probably the point of like DM rolls.
Yeah.
Like having the DM roll something for your character that you wouldn't know that you failed.
Right. Which I rolled for you. Like, you rolled and rolled real low. Then I was like, no, I'm gonna roll because there's no way for you to actually know, right?
Yeah.
I'll just tell you what's happening. But I ended up rolling a 1 anyway.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, but
like,
no
I
one
saw
was
your
lying in the
expression, so I
situation.
was like, I don't feel like you got any better than I did, and I got like
Yeah,
a
but-
3 or a 4.
Yeah, but Falzer wasn't lying. Like, she was just like, yes. But I think, like, okay, so he was lying a little bit. So he believed that he was important, but he also wasn't going there to get your friends. He was trying to just escape, right? Like, he was also like trying to save himself.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which I probably could have let you guys know, but I'm pretty sure you guys understood like who Falzer was as a person.
Yeah, by that point, you're like, yeah, we can see what
Right.
he is.
Right, so you guys tied him up with all the rope you guys had, and then all 4 of you dragged his ass through the city.
You have a lot of rope.
Yeah, and some of you guys stopped and helped some people, which later on ended up on your boat because you guys like having lots of NPCs tag along with you.
Yeah,
on your
well, they
adventures.
like having lots of NPCs. My character
Yeah.
doesn't like having a bunch of randos on her boat, but I guess here we are.
Right. So then you rescue some people, and then the Furious Four showed up.
Yeah.
Because I've been watching a lot of Avatar lately. There are a bunch of element benders. So I had like Airy and Ember and River and Rocky.
Oh, you
show up
remembered.
Yeah, I know. That's what I remember, those names. But yeah, so I made some benders, which we can get into some detail maybe a little bit in later podcasts about like enemy design, because I like the enemy design, but also you're a player in my game, so I don't want to like spoil a lot of stuff. So
Oh man,
Maybe-
you can
maybe
go
while
right
the-
ahead and spoil stuff for me, because like my favorite thing about these games is just being in character. So even if I, Calvin, know something, my
Yeah.
character is still gonna do whatever they're gonna do.
Yeah, well, okay, so I mean, I think like a couple sessions later, any of you guys would find this out anyway. But like there were genasies, so there were like
Oh,
like,
I didn't know
yeah, right. So that's why they were so. That's where like half of them, they're like, I described them as having like, you know, different colored skin and hair, and like have like elemental
Oh
affinities. Right?
yeah, I didn't put that together
Right.
at all.
Yeah, but honestly, I just took the genasi thing, and I was like, I saw like their spell list, and I was like, they could like turn invisible, and I was like, that's dumb. They should be able to bend elements or whatever. So I looked through the list of like what's a wind one? What's the primal list? And I was like, oh, there's gust of wind, there's hydraulic push, and I was like, yeah, that sounds like cool moves or whatever.
Okay.
Right. So I just tacked them on. I didn't give them like spell limits because they're only gonna last maybe 2 rounds. So I was just like, whatever. And then on the fly, I gave Aerie the ability to just like her movement can just get her anywhere she wants. But she can't fly. She could just jump real good.
Yeah. Like Samurai Jack.
Yeah, and then I gave everyone like elemental attacks, but essentially it was their regular attacks. Like I think they and their list they had like a longbow and a scimitar, and I was like, yeah, their elemental attacks or like their bending attacks just do that amount. It was like something.
Oh, okay.
It was like a D6 plus 10 and a D4 plus 10 or some crap like that, and I was like, all right, that's good enough because like no one's gonna know, no one's gonna care.
So yeah, you just take the same amount of damage, but you flavor it instead as like water or fire or whatever.
Yeah, right. So instead of it being like slashing damage, it's fire damage or whatever. So
yeah, that's just a bit off topic, but that is one thing I like about Mutants and Masterminds as a game. Is like that's built into the mechanics that you do that. But yeah.
Well, anyway. So which was crazy. That fight was actually kind of fun. My wife Abby, she finally her druid finally got their level spells, and I was like, yo, you gotta have fireball. Like fireball is like the quintessential. If I think of D&D, fireball is like what I think about. It's like yeah man, like it's so good. And then so she rolled really well on initiative and started the fight off as you do with a quick toss fireball. And like, you know, I think two of them succeeded on the reflex save. One of them failed, and one of them critically failed, which like pretty much took them out of the fight, which was like awesome. Because you know, and these guys aren't hard to hit there, but they did do like a lot of damage for what they are, which makes sense why they have invisibility because they can't tank. So I guess that's really what they're designed for. It's like hit and run kind of deals. But anyway, so you know, Aerie was flying around, jumping around, while like you know Misty with her winged boots just chased her around and pretty much murdered her. And Pain, being a barbarian, kind of rushed up and like destroyed Rocky, and then destroyed Water, and like killed Fire. And then I think my Abby kind of moved like. She moved up for some reason. I think she forgot because she also has like for anybody who doesn't know my DMing style, I like to make up a lot of crap and just kind of throw in my own custom items. So she has like magical girl powers, so she's able to like transform her outfit, and the outfit gives her like bonuses. So I think she forgot that she didn't do that and just moved up and then basically got wrecked by everyone. And then
I mean, we were all kind of overconfident at the moment coming off that Falzor high.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But no, everyone ended the fight. Rebecca like rolled 2 crits in a row, which was awesome for her character. She did like 40 damage, which is like bonkers.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, Abby's druid Rain did go down for a bit, and I was a bit worried about that because she got caught in a gust immediately and got blown away from the party. And she's the one with the healing spells. Yeah,
she's the only one with the healing spells, and she went first and then walked up, which is brilliant. I loved it. But no, it was fine. I mean, you were still hanging back, and Helen was throwing out some pot shots. There was a cool moment where we all discovered the power of the alchemic bombs and how cool they are. Like, yeah, man, like Pathfinder alchemic bombs, like they all do like a element damage, but they also have like bonuses. Like the alchemist fire will catch you on fire, while like the frost bomb will slow you down and make you like flat-footed, which I thought was crazy good. You know what I mean? Like, so one guy was like hampered and like flat-footed, and like Helen took advantage of it and like landed like 3 shots, which was crazy.
Yeah, I didn't think I would get all 3 of those, but I was just like pew pew pew. And then
no, I was
doing my 3d6 like that's super special.
Yeah, super special. Even though, which was like, well, I mean, okay, so to be fair, you guys haven't fought a lot of undead stuff, and like Helen's like pretty much immune to undead stuff at this point.
Yeah, basically. I don't know. I realized, I think it wasn't until that fight that I fully realized, oh, I probably deal with the least damage out of everyone here.
Yeah, which is.
But that was fine
crazy.
because I could do the other stuff that needed to be done during combat.
Yeah, which is awesome. I mean, I think everyone appreciates Helen, and Helen appreciates everyone, right? Like,
Yeah.
you can't just all be the murder machine on the team. Sometimes you just gotta like play the part, right?
Yeah, it's just such a weird shift going from Macy, who was one of the murder machines on the party, to going to like the person who will like run the objective while everyone's just killing the other team.
Right. So you know, Abby was fun. It was fun too watching Abby rolling save or die. Sorry, like the death mechanic. So that was kind of cool too. It got somebody else. I think like that's three sessions or 2 sessions in a row now, because I know that Rebecca's character Misty went down the last session. So you know, cranking up the intensity, right, of the encounters. It's making me.
I mean, not for me. Yeah. Actually, surprisingly, I was at 40 something health when we started, and I was like, I don't know, because I had bought a bunch of health potions because we were all crazy rich.
Yeah, I also give a lot of coins to people. Yeah.
So I was surprisingly pretty good compared to everyone else. But yeah, we did pretty good in that fight. It was a pretty fun fight.
Yeah, so you guys, and then Ember, like, after he was the only one left, he, like, dipped, and then you chased Ember down, and he went and ran to his mistress, and it was like, they're coming, and then she's like, it doesn't even matter, and, like, grabbed him and killed him,
and like her him for failing her.
Yes, and then failing her for, like, stopping us, and then, killed him and sucked his soul into, like, the medallion, and then you guys, and then she like called out, I think, Payne's character by name, right?
Yeah, because we had snuck up there. Ray and Rain, who I don't know how you aren't constantly confusing well, you are constantly confusing the two, because I know I am. They were stopping to do medicine checks to patch themselves up, but I was like, it's not in character for Helen to stick around for this right now, so she's gonna just keep going. And fortunately for me, Rebecca's fighter Misty was also, I guess, in decent conditions, and has pretty good stealth, so we both snuck up there. And I don't know, there's part of me that kind of likes I guess we kind of glossed over it a bit, but I kind of just like that the two leaders in the party, quote unquote, were the ones who saw the leader of this other cult and see her just like being a terrible person.
Yeah, just like murder a dude. It's just murder her own dudes. He's like, I'll just remake the Furious 4 or something. Like, she's like, you guys aren't actually as special as you think. Right. So, you know, which was cool. Yeah. And evil for sure, making her feel villainous as you do for villains. And then so the interesting thing is, like, she was pretty high level, and I knew that Payne had the most amount of HP in the party. So after, like, the Ray and Rain caught up to Misty and Helen, they Payne and Sonata called out Ray by name. Ray was like, all right, forget this, I'm going right in. And everyone was like, no, wait. And I was like, no, you can go in. Like, and Payne's like, do I have to roll for initiative? I was like, no, you make it, man. Just have a free turn. She's gonna let you. And he's like, oh, okay, cool. And then he goes, and I think he whiffed all of them.
He got 22 to hit at one point. That was the point when we all got worried.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome when it was like 22 hit, and I was like, no. And everyone was like, everyone was so shocked. It was like if I couldn't script it, man. Like, it was like the best moment where I'm like, yes, I've got them now.
That was when we realized, like, what we were dealing with here.
Yeah, it was like, if Payne couldn't hit her, who could hit her, right? Which was really fun to for your big bad to get a gasp with your big bad, man. It was so beautiful. It was like exactly what I wanted. So, So and then as like she parries her, like her cloak falls off and like reveals that she's like this fiery skinned horned giantess, like, she like kind of like grows back to like, you know, a large size, right? So
Yep.
even the fact that like I put a smaller mini there and then Pain ran up and attacked her and then I immediately switched it to the big one. It was just like, oh no.
Yeah, there was a lot of oh no in that fight. I think
Yeah, it was
like at that
awesome.
point it went from like maybe we could beat her if we get super lucky and the dragon doesn't show up to maybe we can survive this if we get super lucky and the dragon doesn't show up.
Yeah, it was cool. So then I think we rolled for initiative afterwards, and Pain got initiative again first, and I was like, great, this is actually what we wanted.
Nice.
It all worked out. So Pain, and Pain got to use Jojo, his demonic axe, which I custom made for him, which is like, I don't know, it was good for me. Like I always love it when I make cool stuff and the PCs use it, because like, you know, I think it's cool and they think it's cool, right? So, you know, he got like an extra attack this game, this encounter, so he used all of them. I think he only hit like twice or something, maybe once, and it was like, oh, this is gonna be a serious fight. And then like I retaliated immediately because Sonata just went next and like dropped him down to almost 0. You know, so like she
Oh yeah, she got a crit,
once.
I think.
Yeah, like her first roll was a crit, and then Payne was like, oh, like, yeah, and everybody was like, because I said like, I don't know, 36, like so nonchalantly, and everyone's like, excuse me? 36, right? She got you with like her giant scimitar or whatever.
Yeah, giant flaming scimitar. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And she had a cool mechanic where she's able to like grab somebody. So like she did the scimitar, then she grabbed Pain with like a 30 again, and then just like burnt him a little bit. Which I was like, I don't think I wanted to go for like another scimitar swing, because like I already did like, I don't know, something ridiculous like 40 or 50 damage to Pain, like in one strike, and that put the fear of God like in everyone. And then,
I mean, to be fair, so did the grab and the fact that he was just burning in her touch. So
yeah, which is also pretty good. So Pain went from like, I don't know, he had the most amount of HP in the party, so I think he had like 70, and he brought him down to like 20 or 60 or something, or sorry, 20 or 15 or something like that. And he was like, well, this is good, this is fine. Right?
Still standing.
Yeah, it'll be good. And then then everyone's like, we can't actually fight her. I don't think so. Let's use the demon net we've been talking about for so long.
Yeah, we've been hyping that up for several sessions, and it's been like quite a few months because of just everything going on. So like, we've had that demon net just like there for the longest time.
Yeah, it was so funny because it's like there was an argument of whether or not this lady was a demon or devil or fiend or whatever the thing is. Like, it's like, is it gonna work? is this really gonna work?
Yeah, that was my concern.
It was so funny. Yeah, because you guys had no clue whether or not like because I was like, this only works specifically on like demons and devils. Like if you use it on something else, it's just like a really shitty net.
Yeah.
But and then like I didn't really care for if I had set the rules to be like, well, you know, if you rolled an attack roll and got over her DC or whatever, or a reflex, then like the net works and you get her. And I was like, well, I feel like that's not dramatic enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you guys aren't likely to hit her anyway. So
yeah, I get that.
What's the point of using the net if you guys are just gonna like, you guys could have also just ganged up and wailed on her, right? Like, you guys would probably miss a lot, but like, you know, eventually you'll wear her down. I was like, no, I think it's more dramatic with the 50-50. So then I said it was like, okay, if you're gonna use the net, there's you just have to roll 11 or higher DC flat check.
Under the D20,
Super simple. 50-50 flat check, and then she's just caught in the net. And I was like, or like the net lands on her or whatever, right?
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I thought it would be easier.
Yeah.
I thought it would be much easier to get that. It was like a 50% chance. I was like, okay, this is probably gonna work, so I'm wondering how effective it'll be. But it's the only thing we've got right now.
Yeah. I also want to shout out for Pain using, because Falzor being a mad bomber had like a bunch of like alchemist bombs on him. So I know Pain really wanted some alchemist bombs, so I gave him like a whole bunch. And then he, during like his, like, I made it so like, so one round kind of went by without really You guys thinking about using the net? And then Payne was like, okay, I'm going to toss a frost bomb, but I don't want to try and hit her because it's really hard to hit her. I'm just going to throw her on the ground. And I was like, yeah, then it just automatically does like 1 damage or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But then like finding out, that was a good inkling, finding out that even though it only did 1 damage, she actually took 11 because she had like weakness 10 to cold.
Really? Oh, okay,
yeah. So Payne saw that and he was like, oh, we can use cold, but then it's like, damn, I'm out of frost bombs or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So like I think it's really good because, you know, Payne like remember for future, if you ever go and fight this chick, you guys have to like, okay, she's literally made of fire, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things that like he will like, you probably remember later and plan it. Like now it's like, if you're gonna stop her in the future, you're gonna have to like plan ahead because she's obviously way more stronger than you guys.
Yeah, but at least like now we have, okay, I think that didn't click for me at the time, just because I was like so focused on like rescuing the other people, so I was probably just looking at the map and counting how much movement I could get to them.
Yeah, right. So then, you know, you guys fought 1 round. Everyone tried to do some strikes. I think that Misty got 1 hit in, and Rain moved in and tried to throw the net on her and then missed. And then you came around to, and then I was like, I put like a little token saying, okay, you missed. The net's on the other side of her, right?
Yeah.
So then, you know, you guys walked around, grabbed the net, tossed it again, missed again. Like, it was so many times.
Again, 50% chance. I was like, this is probably going to happen in a couple of rolls. It took 5. It took 5 rolls to get 11 or higher on a 20-sided die. And what really gets me is when I went to go for it, the most ridiculous die roll I have ever seen in my life. I rolled it, it landed, it was on 18. I saw 18 on the top and I was like, but then it just like, boop, just tipped right over onto 4.
Just rolled over, just like 18, nope, 4. And it was like, everyone was like, oh, the table just erupted and like, everyone's so sad, like, how? Right?
Oh my gosh, that was probably like one of the most ridiculous rolls I have ever seen. It was up there with the ages ago, Corey getting that crit to cut his way out of a T-Rex that was like actively digesting him.
Yeah. It feels like every time I have a barbarian like in my grips, like they always roll a 20. Like it happened with Corey one time. I ate, it was like a hangman tree, and it like got him, and like he was like inside of its like clutches, and then he just broke out with a 20.
Yeah.
And like Payne, every time like I back in like the second session when he was in, where you guys are in, well, you weren't there yet. It was when they went to get the medallion and they got captured in the room, and then he's like I'm gonna break the door down with the chair, rolls a 20. Like every time I have a barbarian in my clutches, they just roll a 20. Speaking of which, when Sonata grabbed Ray, I was just like, yeah, man, you could roll a 20. Like the only way you can escape and like remove the grapple is like roll a 20. And he's like, okay, so strong, well, yeah, but like, can I just still attack? And I was like, yeah, man, you can still attack. And I was like, and he was like, okay. And he rolls 20. And it, you know, and it was cool because like he used like JoJo's other ability, Devour, to gain back some extra hit points. So he like did like, you know, 30 damage to this chick, got like a bunch of HP back, and then I think he swung again, missed, and then he decided that his last roll, he's like, well, I'm gonna try and escape. And I was like, I'll give it to you on a 19 or a 20, and then he just rolls a 19, and I was like, this is awesome. I was like, yo, man, you're living the dream. I'm with you. Like, let's do this. Like,
that was a crazy fight.
Yeah, it was crazy, and yeah, everyone felt in peril. Everyone felt like at any moment, if she ever tried to like target one of you guys, like you would just go down to 0 like instantly.
I mean, for sure, because she did get hit on me, because she was swinging her weapon and she was hitting multiple people. Yeah, so one of those landed on me and took away over half of my health. I was like, so I can't do this. I can't help you guys.
Right, so you guys toss the net back and forth, which is also kind of comedical, and then finally, I think it was Abby, yeah, Rain goes and finally lands the net onto her, and then like everyone went silent, and it was like, did it work? And then I was like, yes, this small net that barely covers her just pins her to the ground.
Fell to the ground and she was prone and pinned, and we're like, yes, we worked so hard for it.
Yeah, it was such a good payoff, and it was like, damn you, my small net, my only weakness.
Oh man.
Which is hilarious.
I didn't know what to do, because at that point, like the turn before, like when I think I had my turn before her, or was the round before, whichever. Helen had just gone to rescue the people who we went there to rescue in the first place, like her crewmate, that baker who was a descendant of the wizard who entrapped that dragon, and also a librarian friend who we had come to for research purposes on the medallion itself, which was the whole point of this quest. They had all been captured, so Helen was just like releasing them. It's just like, you guys got to get the hell out of here. Just go to my ship and like get ready to move.
Yeah, and there was like this one moment where it was like, do they actually leave? No, you need to leave. No, we don't want to leave. Like kind of moment.
Yeah, there was some debate on that. I mean, to me, it was more like I would have made a persuasion check or whatever I had to do to get them to get going. But I don't know, like the crew is loyal enough to, I hope, follow Helen's orders.
Yeah, I mean, they also don't want you to die.
Yeah,
like,
no, I know. Like, I get that. I was just
right.
like, that's why I was saying, like, if I have to convince them to do this, I'll go for it. But I hope they just follow my order and just leave.
Yeah, but luckily, like, you know, literally, I was like, okay, they're gonna stick around for a round because, you know, it's not their turn, right?
Yeah.
But then, you know, it was very luckily that, you know, that Rain landed the hit with the net. The small net pins this large fiery woman under it. It's just the imagery just makes me so happy. And she's just like stuck, but she's still like flailing her sword. She's like, damn you. But then she's like, well, then I have to use my out. And then you guys, she reached out and pulled out like an orb of dragon kind, right? A red one. And she's like, oh, that's how she's controlling the dragon, right? Like, you know. And she goes and summons the dragon to just torch the city block, essentially, right? And then the dragon's like, and then everything's just like slow motion. Everyone's running away as this dragon kind of like departs its battle from like all the Griffin Knights and their fortress, and it's just like starts nuking the place, right?
Yeah, it just zooms right down on us.
Yeah,
because like I thought we would have to. Oh, sorry, I was just saying, like I thought at that time, because the net was barely covering her, but she was able to move her arm, and it was her turn right after. So I thought, okay, she'll probably try to get out or something, or she'll try to attack us. If we can survive that, we'll figure out what to do next, because I know everyone's eyeing the multiple medallions that she has. Yeah. I didn't expect the orb at all. I didn't even like consider that she was controlling the dragon, because I thought they just wanted chaos to kill multiple people and then absorb all the souls. I didn't think they like wanted to like control the dragon itself. So yeah, that comes out and it's like, oh no. And then she summons it like to rain fire down on us because she's immune to fire. So yeah, if the whole block gets burned, what does she care? It's like, oh no.
It's so good. It's such like it was like her one out, because I knew about the demonette, and I was like, I knew that also if you guys would like batter, like, so I needed you to like not kill her. So if she got really close to dying anyway, because you know it's a dice game. Someone rolls like a couple 20s in a row, all of a sudden she just has like half HP. She'd be like, forget this is not worth it. It's my big day. Like, right, so you know, she goes and she uses her out and nukes the city block, and there was a moment where Wyo's character Rain, she goes and she like it's everyone's running away, and then I was like, okay, so the camera's like, from your point of view, you look at her, you look at the dragon, you look at the medallions, you look at the orb, and then it's like, and then you're like, she's like, I wanna grab the orb and befriend the dragon. Yeah, she was talking
all day about befriending that dragon.
Yeah,
and I was like, because like me, Calvin, I was like, I would be super into that. You should totally take this risk. But like in character, like I'm not sticking around. I got out the people who I needed to get out, and this dragon is coming right now, so I'm gonna leave. Yeah,
and I think that because so like mechanically, if we did all the numbers correct, like for what she needed to do, she needed to roll a natural 20. Like it was the only way for her to critically succeed at disarming her with the orb.
Yeah.
So, and I was like, well, I was like, if you roll, I'll give it to you this. I'll give you a 19 or a 20, right? 10% chance.
Yeah.
Because if you got that orb and you're able to control the dragon, like this whole, like you win. Like you guys got it. Like you stopped the dragon from attacking everyone. You caught the bad guy. Like this is like game breaking stuff, right? Like this is like this can like tear apart my whole thing. And I was like, but I'm all down for it. Like I know Rain's like a crazy lady. Like she'll do it, right? We've seen her do crazier stuff and like, change whole scenarios. Like I really believe that she could have done it, right, if she really wanted to, and she would bank on the fact that she's so great that she would do it, right? So and I was like, yeah, man, that's it, 19 or 20, you got it. I'm not even gonna argue with you. But that was it, and everyone sat there and debated. It was like 10 minutes of debated as I described how like this dragon like started breathing its fire, and you see all like the fire to start like molting and like melting like this, like even the ground, just right, as it approaches. Just everything's ablaze. Like
I was trying to nudge her towards doing it without explicitly saying you should do it, but
yeah, it was hilarious because you and Rebecca were like, Rebecca's like, I don't really want to do it, but I want to see this play out.
Exactly.
Right. Well, Payne was like, nah, man, that's never gonna work.
Which is absolutely get correct. Out of here.
Yeah, I gave you guys an out. You guys don't have to fight the dragon. Just leave now with your friends. You guys did it. Payne's like, we gotta go.
Oh man! But if it had worked, but yeah, I guess she eventually decided. She eventually decided to leave, and also Ray like grabbed her and pulled her along.
Yeah, as soon as she was like, "No, I'm not gonna do it," and I was like, "Yeah, okay." And then because Payne's character, like just before she agreed, like Payne was like, "No, I'm just gonna go tackle her then if that's gonna be the case."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I think it'd be a cool moment where, I think that Ray and Rain like as characters, they really like has like a special bond."
Yeah, they are on very similar wavelengths in some ways.
Yeah, right. So I think that if anybody was gonna try and rescue Rain from herself, like it would be Ray, because I think they both as characters get like a little bit crazy, and they usually
as was proven when they burned down that whole pirate cabin.
Yeah, which is like the cementing of like their like in all of the bloody murder that they're doing. It was like cementing their friendship and how they really kind of understand each other.
Yeah.
So I like I like the scene where it's like, well, like I switched back into movie mode. I did the whole thing where like you saw like you could feel like the dragon's heat now as it approaches, and then all of a sudden you just feel yourself being pulled away, and it's like you look back and Raid's grabbed you, and it's like, we're getting out of here. Like you guys ran. You guys got onto your ship, all of your NPCs, which was awesome because we went down the list.
Yeah, we did, because we like Helen's crew started off with like her and 4 other people, but now there's like a dozen people on her ship, including the party.
Yeah, including the party. So you're like, is everyone there? And I was like, yes. I like named out everyone.
Yeah. I was going through the list, like, is everyone on this ship? It's like every single person who should be here, and then these 2 random people who we ran into on the way, like just literally 2 randos.
Yeah,
I guess they're also there.
So funny. Well, because you guys interact with them, and you're like, I was like, because you guys are like, I think it was Misty. Misty stopped the dude who was running away, and she was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "What do you mean, what's going on?" And he just points to the dragon in the sky. And it was like,
but that was the extent of the interaction,
right? And it was like, so Soniax is whatever, right? And then Payne's like, "Yeah, his name's Justice." And I was like, "Okay." So then I was like, he has a name, so I guess he has a place on the ship.
Great. And then the other guy was just someone who we had I think Ray had sort of met.
Yeah, and that's why he pulled him out of the rubble. I was like, yeah, you rescue somebody out of the rubble with your immense strength. And I think before, like when you guys first got to Alinea, like it was like you guys had a bunch of meet cutes, and one of them was like this really buff dude that Payne Payne's character ran into. And
Yeah.
and then I was like, yeah, it's that guy. He's like, yeah, his name's Angel. I was like, cool. so Angel, and Angel's like a stripper, a male stripper who's
He's
paying
putting himself through alchemy school. Yeah.
Yeah, he's putting himself through alchemy school, and I was like, oh, it's so funny. So being the Mermaid's Dagger, one of the fastest ships on the sea, you guys were able to book it out of there. You guys were actually one of the last ships because you guys, and everybody else, there's a bunch of fleeing ships, there's people running into the forest, like the place is all sorts. And it said like, the Griffin Knights, their fortress, their flying floating fortress gets like annihilated by the dragon, and like at the last minute as you guys like the ship starts pulling away, and
Yeah, that was crazy.
yeah, and all you can hear is just like the roar of fire and dragon and flame and destruction in the distance, and just like smoke billowing from like this once really nice elven city, and is now pretty much destroyed.
Yeah. Just absolutely ashes.
Ashes.
But
man.
we're
It was
alive,
so
so
good.
that's cool.
Yeah, man, it was awesome. And yeah, and then the session ended, and we recounted all the stuff, and we tallied all the NPCs, and turns out you have like 4 alchemists on your ship somehow.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
booting some people off.
Yeah, it's like 4 alchemists, 2 book historian people, a chef as well, a thief, a druid, and then the party.
Yeah, not enough room for
And-
everybody here.
Yeah, well, it's maybe you just need a bigger ship, Calvin. Like we can talk about that.
Yeah, I guess we can figure all that stuff out because we were trying to figure out like what to do next, and I was
Yeah.
saying we should go back to places that we know, like we should like because before I got there, the whole initiation of the quest was getting that medallion. So I was saying we should go back there and find out what we can find out there. But there was also that gang that also wanted the medallion. So
Yeah.
we have stuff to investigate, and I don't know. I'm not sure what you're gonna do next because we might have multiple plans that include stopping up multiple cities.
Yeah, I mean, you guys got a ship, which is like the D&D dream, I think.
Yeah.
to have a ship being able to go anywhere and not have to hoof it everywhere. So the world's open to you guys. So
I will say
Wow.
those NPCs are gonna have to do some work to get Helen to convince her to keep them on her ship. Because she's not very inclined to do so right now.
yeah, what I describe it as, it's like Helen was like, there's too many people on this ship, and she's like trying to walk through her ship, and it's like a crowded dorm room, like it's a bunch of crazy shit happening everywhere. So
Yeah, I'm
it's
really
good.
excited to
It's
get to
fun.
that. I want to
Yeah,
see like
so-
I want to like do some stuff on the ship for her pit.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
looking
I mean,
forward to that.
I think next session's gonna be the kind of like the prologue of this finale. I forget what it's called, like after the climax of a thing. It's like the epilogue, right? Yeah. Maybe, yeah. So it's like the fallen action. So now you have to like collect yourselves. You have a bunch of resources. You have a bunch of smarties, people with knowledge and capabilities, and a ship to take you where you need to go. And you guys can just go ahead and figure it out, which is good because
Yeah.
this feels like more of a I guess like if this is like the ending of part 2. It's like the end of chapter 2. It's like the
Yeah.
main villain has been revealed. Very significant world stuff has happened. Like a whole city got deleted off the map.
I was kind of
And the
thinking
stake-
like, oh, yeah.
No, go ahead.
No. You can finish your thought.
Oh yeah, well I was gonna say, and the stakes have just been like cranked up. It's been raised pretty high now. So
I was kind of feeling like what we would do next would feel like the beginning of a new season of a show where you got to go introduce a bunch of new characters and also the new status quo of the worlds
yeah,
and how the recurring characters we've been seeing this time are able to deal with that.
yeah. Well, it'd be cool to. So like I'll probably start the session like maybe a couple weeks afterwards. Maybe like you guys actually being at like the docks of the next thing that you're gonna do. We'll talk about it like beforehand, and then we'll kind of figure it out. But it's I like the idea of it's not like immediately after. This is gonna be like a couple days after, like everything's calmed down. You guys are in the open sea, and like no one's really gonna mess with you, so you just have time, right,
Mhm.
to just kind of process information.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I'm just like imagining what it would be like in my head. I'm just in my head. I'm thinking of Helen just like up on the top deck of her ship, the only place she can get some like space and some air, and just being like irritated the entire trip. And I don't know. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to this new status quo of the ship.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good fun for me too, because I think the NPCs have. You guys have spent a lot of time with each other and not a lot of time with the crew. So it'd be nice to catch up with the crew and catch up with some NPCs and talk it out for a session instead of all this high action.
Exactly.
Right. So.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be fun. But yeah, that was our session, and it was really hectic. It was really scary, but we succeeded, or quote unquote succeeded, as best as we could. Frankly, I think everything worked out the best possible way that it could have for us. I can't imagine a world in which we did better.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was good. It was exactly what I think D&D should be. It's like that Die Hard situation where John McClane is just, just barely scraping by, but and living and teetering on the edge of getting killed and the terrorists are going to win. But he at the very last second he pulls it out. That's what we want. We don't ever want it to be kind of like a landslide one way or the other. It's good.
Yeah, that was really well balanced. But we could talk about some villain stuff. Specifically, sure. Like anything you set up for the mysterious Mistress Sonata.
Mistress Sonata. You don't even know her first name.
Oh, it's not Mistress?
I know. just like you see, like little Mistress, like little fire baby. Just like, what are you gonna call her? Mistress. No, her name is Mistress.
Oh well, yeah. Now I guess we do know nothing.
Yeah, you guess you know nothing, Jon Snow. Of that show, I don't really watch.
We were talking about it so much. Yeah, I think what kind of stood out to me with her, I mean, a lot of things did, but one of the things was just that she had like a bunch of these medallions, and for the longest time, we thought the one we had was not only like the only one, but it was this like mysterious magical object. We didn't fully understand the powers of it, and yeah we had no idea there were more of them. So not only seeing like just seeing her have another one would have been like something, but seeing her have several of them was just like, what does this mean? Are there more? Is this all of them? Was there only 8? Is she gonna come for this one? Can she find it? I don't know. I think that was more questions.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I think that like it was great because that was actually solely based off of, well, I mean, so like my idea of it was like I literally looked at the bestiary picture of like of like her character.
I mean, I get that, yeah.
And I was like, oh, she has lots of the medallions. What I think the medallions would look like. I was like, cool, this is easily explained now. I don't have to like just be like, this is what it looks like, and then also she has lots of medallions. I could just literally show you the picture, and then you guys are like, she has lots of medallions. Like,
I do like that. Just good. Like you see the thing, and then it inspires an idea, and you don't have the conclusion to that, but it does. Like it's clearly intriguing.
Yeah, right. But it's like it was like super cool to see that. Because I did describe to you before that you saw somebody with a medallion walking around that was like
it was like something similar to it that was tied to this cult or whatever that Falzor was part of. Yeah,
right. And you guys try to chase that person, and then but you guys got stopped, and that's when we had all the meet cutes, which was really funny. But yeah, no, it was like, so it was cool that the picture, like, I just lucked out, 100% just lucked out, because I didn't actually remember what the picture looked like, but it was exactly what I was imagining in my mind. So I was like, yes, it did it. The universe has granted me this. So, it was cool. And yeah, it kind of ratcheted up the plot. Like, wait a minute, I thought we understood this a little bit. Now we actually don't understand it at all again, right? So
yeah, exactly.
And like the only power the medallion that you were seeing was like you pull out a fire sword out of it, right? And right. And then
because now we're seeing them
like,
suck up souls and stuff.
yeah, and like she had like 7 of them, and then you're like, what do you mean 7 of them or whatever? Like, what does it mean to have more? Like, what else can they do?
Exactly.
It's,
Yeah, I like that her power was like, it was immediately tied into like the main plot of the campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's something I've had trouble with, is trying to keep everything like cohesive and related, because I want to like throw a bunch of stuff in. But yeah, just like coming across this powerful figure who is, of course, related to what we're already doing. Yeah. I just think that makes a villain more relatable, especially since she also mentioned that she was connected to some other enemies that we had come across before.
Yeah, right. And it was like she was there on the, like, you guys burnt her ship down because they were chasing you guys when you guys were trying to leave the Hearst. Mm-hmm. And I was like, so yeah, because that actually that was a cool fight too, because at the time, so it really showed how powerful the dagger was. I was like, all right, you have like 1 ballista shot, because that's all that Orgwak had at the time, and it's like you were chasing by 2 ships, and it told you what was on both of the ships, and you guys shot one of the ships. You
shot the closer one, which might have been the less threatening one, but it was like the more immediately dangerous one.
Yeah, and then I think it was Sonata's ship, and then so
no,
she was
it was Lance's ship.
Oh yeah, well yeah, it was Lance's ship, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, you guys burnt down her ship with that, because then what was it? Abby had flaming sphere, and I was like, yeah, flaming sphere can definitely light a ship on fire, because it's just like a fireball you could like put anywhere you want. Like, you don't actually have to like see it. It's just like it's over there, right? So as you guys are being boarded, Abby just like used one of her actions every round to move the fire sphere around the ship and like start catching on fire everything, right? So that was pretty cool. But yeah, no, and she was there cloaked. I left her in the dark because the evil villain cloaked. You don't know. I think I stole that from Kingdom Hearts. You never really know who's staring at you with those black cloaks. So,
those villain cloaks.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking about those Organization 13 cloaks. They're just like a black hooded cloak. You can't see their face like at all until they lift it up, right? Yeah. So
classic villain attire.
Classic villain attire. So she was there cloaked, and then you burnt down her ship, and you guys got away. And then from that on, she was like, it was like that. Those at PCs, ruining my plans, kind of deal. So.
Whoops.
Yeah, and So and also changed her plans too, right? So she was working with what's his name? I forget the first villain.
Kenneth,
the nobleman. Kenneth, yeah. She was working with Kenneth. She's the one that gave Kenneth like the thing, and then I don't know if they remember. We probably talk about it again. But yeah, Kenneth's guards, like his army that he has like in his castle, he's like, yeah, after this random robe chick showed up, like Kenneth's been acting kind of weird, right? Like really like.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that, so I don't know.
Yeah, you were physically not there for that. Yeah. So yeah, but he was like, he was being weird and being like kind of locked away and like kind of started doing like this, like spending a lot of time in the dungeons and not really talking to us too much, but whatever, right? So and I was like, yeah, because Mrs. Sonata was like promising him things, right? like Falzor, like Falzor she was gonna grant Falzor any wish that he wanted to do her bidding, right? So that was happening to Kenneth, and then now she is. It showed that she's like, which is cool because my villain now she's smart because she planned out this crazy plan, right? She's charismatic enough to have followers, right?
Yeah. And
convince people to do her bidding. She's strong enough to fight you guys in melee and like just actually fight you guys one-on-one, right? Mm-hmm. And like she's like, she also has a kind of vindictive personality. And is like ruthless, right? Like she'll straight up just like murder her own people and like talk about how she's gonna burn down Rain's forest and like all that stuff, right? Like, so she's fully capable of like doing all that stuff, and she shows that she's also pretty smart to have like a couple outs to stuff. So whenever you guys fight her again, like she'll remember all the things that she experienced and will probably just have things in place to not make it so easy for you again, so she doesn't get stopped by a small net.
Yeah, I imagine she's not going to take us like on her own next time. But I do like the idea that this villain was just like always sort of there in the background, and her influence reaches so far that she was connected to these things that we were dealing with, and maybe didn't like at the time put together how they were related. Yeah, it just makes the plot more connected, and also makes her more intimidating because it was like, oh, she was there the whole time. She was that shape in the darkness that we couldn't fully comprehend yet.
Yeah, which is okay. So like, I mean, if I was like a book writer, I would be like, because I retroactively put all these points together, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, that happens.
Well, Mitchell Sonata didn't actually exist back when we first started playing. But also, I thought when we first started playing, I was like, this is going to be a really short game, like campaign, right? It was just going to be like an adventure, pretty much. But then it's like, no, we're going to keep going. And I was like, okay, cool. Now I got to think of more crap.
I mean, that is the way of it. Like, you don't always have these ideas fully formed in your head. Like, I don't think the majority of what happened last session, I'm guessing the majority of it wasn't planned, like, from the beginning. Certainly not Mr. Sonata, certainly not Helen and her entire crew, certainly not the NPCs we were rescuing. But it still ended up being this awesome, fun sesh.
Yeah. And, villains, they don't have to be all thought out right away, but if you think about where you want your villains to be introduced, like you just pick like a point later in the campaign and be like, this is where you're gonna meet the villain. I feel like campaigns you need to like introduce the villain. I feel like a lot of times they're maybe a couple like villains away, right? Like if I think about it like a roadmap, it's like they're like the final destination, and sometimes you kind of want to introduce them at the beginning and then bring them back for later, like this is like the main villain, and then it's like, it's so weird. So like I think there's like a couple ways you could do that. You can introduce them first, but you have to have them not kill the PCs and not have the PCs kill them, and everything conclude dramatically. Right?
Yeah, which is a hard balance to make.
It's very hard, especially like in the moment. Like you have to be like super conscious.
I mean, like I tried to do that and it almost didn't work out.
Yeah, right. So then you could have the bad guy has a letter because he's working, like you thought, like, so you have a bad guy for like your chapter 1. Your chapter 1 concludes where like this bad guy was actually corresponding to a whole bunch of bad guys, and then you go to chapter 3 or chapter 2 and chapter 3, you beat those bad guys, and you're like, wait, all these other bad guys who are working in this bad guy organization is actually all working for this one bad guy, right? And then the plot unfolds that all of their actions were actually just to be working for him, right? But you never actually experience that bad guy or like actually physically see him until like the very, very end, right? Kind of deal. And that's cool too. A lot of Pathfinder, so like the ones that I played through, like Rise of Runelords, and Skyfall, I think is what it's called, or something like Sky Shard, the one with the drow one. The main bad guys, you knew about them, but you never actually saw them until like the very end, and like they built up these people like a lot, like which was nuts, because when it was like we finally faced off with them, it was like it felt like even though we've never actually talked to them or interacted with them, it was like this crazy like, oh my god, we have to kill this person like immediately.
Yeah, and it was like you know them by reputation.
Yeah, and the fights themselves weren't really like they were like this fight. Like it wasn't like, it was still quick. Like this fight was only maybe 3 rounds, right? Like all the fights are really, but there was so much tension in it because we're like, oh my god, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. This is like all the build up. This is all the hype. This is all the dead bodies in our wake. We're like here, right? And that feels really good. And but also like introducing a villain like in the beginning and have them kind of like, mess with the PCs, or the PCs mess with their plans. You guys go back and forth and have this rhetoric till you guys finally, clash in the last conclusion. That's also really good too. I like those villains. I don't know, like they feel like more like TV villains. You know what I mean? Like they're they'll show up and like do something and then go away for a couple of things and show back up again, and then you're like, haha, this is what I've been doing all this time, right?
And then
now I'll defeat you, right? And then like you guys clash, and then like, you know, you guys, maybe one side gets better than the other, and then the other one just boots out of there or whatever, right? So
yeah, that build up to the final confrontation with them, and just even like putting together their bad guy scheme, or however that would work, whatever. Like that moment you realize like the extent of their plans, even if it's just from a distance, and then you actually come across this person, and like this whole thing's being built up for an extended period of time, and now you're actually going into this final battle or whatever it may be. Like I think that's like a really interesting thing for a game. And like if you're someone who wants to make a game like that, like you totally can if you want to plan that ahead. But I think also you don't necessarily need to, and like you can still end up having a really fun session. I think in some ways, one piece of advice I would give to people is just really to be like adaptable to things.
Yeah.
See what direction your players are going in, and if it gives you a point where you can like create this plot and create this villain and tie all these other loose threads together, I mean, all the better.
Yeah, and you know, just don't get too worried, man. Just sometimes you just gotta stop and listen to your PCs and just like, again, just kind of like breathe for a minute. You don't have to have all the answers. Just you have to have a lot of shadowy figures staring at you, looming in the background, right? That's good enough a lot of the time.
I think it might in some ways depend on the group, but certainly for for this crew for sure. But yeah, you don't always have to have all the answers right away. It's cool if you do, but like there is a lot of just doing stuff on the fly. There is a lot of how do I make this work on the fly. There is a lot of like even not even just mechanical stuff, like just the idea of they're going in this direction, they're doing this thing. How can I adapt to that, like within this moment? That's kind of like the crux of GMing, and you're probably going to end up you're going to end up doing something unexpected, and in general, I would say majority of the time, it'll turn out to be something that's fun for you as well, because it's not something you prepared for.
Yeah, and I know that. So like also too, you gotta like celebrate when you're like if you like every time like everyone crits or lands a lucky roll or something, right? It's like you gotta like celebrate it a little bit too, right? Like you gotta also like fall in love with your players' characters, or else it's not gonna be fun. Like
as a player and as a GM, you should be fans of other people's characters.
Yeah, like because when they do something cool, like everyone's happy and everyone's like, that was so awesome. Like even though I didn't really do too much, or I got knocked out at the beginning of the fight, like, or something like that, but I was like, oh man, but you landed that crit, that's so cool, you know?
Yeah, it's a cooperative activity, so like you should be enjoying not only like the people you're playing this game with, but like how they're playing this game as well.
Yeah, so you know, it's cool. I don't know, do you have anything else on the list?
We've been talking for like an hour. We could talk about dice rolls and how random chance affects narrative. Well, because that was just something that I had on my mind. Just given like you had mentioned the initiative roll that our barbarian character get, and how it was just like serendipitous to what had happened in the plot, and I was thinking about that ridiculous die roll that it was gonna be 18. And somehow the forces of physics just stop themselves to nudge it over to a 4. Yeah.
Well, so I mean, I don't know. It was just good. I mean, I didn't mind. It was just good that, you know. Also, like it's also like Payne's birthday, like this week or like next week. Yeah,
that was
right?
his birthday gift.
So, right. So like,
those good rolls.
It's good rolls. But you know what I mean. Like I was like, man, like Payne wants to go smash stuff with his axe. Let's give it to him, man. Like I'm not gonna stop in his way. Like I think he got like because I just gave him the ability to just be like, yeah, you get a free round of hitting and like he was able to swing his axe like 6 times or something before like the fight actually started. You know what I mean? Like he was super happy being able to play D&D and like roll those dice and do that damage, right? So it was cool for him, and like it didn't really matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes you just gotta like I think last week we talked about the rule of cool, and like sometimes you just gotta like let it go. Like it's fine.
Yeah, sometimes
like,
the dice are gonna decide that something cool happened, and it'll happen. I think that's another thing about adaptability is you have to be prepared for like outcomes that you don't want to happen in some ways. Like there has to be you'll have to like question what'll happen if players lose a fight, and if they got to make a new character, they got to make a new character. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you can't necessarily predict what a die is going to do, and I think that's another reason why you can't necessarily predict how the plot of your game is gonna go. Between player decisions and random chance on a die roll, like you can't say for sure. Like even that moment we were trying to get this stupid small net on this massive demon creature. The fact that in the moment it became this it became this lengthy process of just trying to get it over her, and it keeps landing on the other side of her, and we basically had like a 50% chance of doing it, but it increased the tension of the moment because we were on a clock. Like there's a dragon out there actively burning down this city. We're fighting a person who is clearly stronger than us and could probably lay any one of us out if they had like another round or two to do so. Like we were under pressure in that moment, and we're trying to do something that I think if it had just worked right away, it might have been slightly less dramatic.
I think it would have been just as dramatic too. Well, it definitely would have been less tense. It would have been like, oh, we did it, right? And then like immediately it would have like so like my climax was eventually she has to use the dragon orb to call the dragon to nuke the block, right? That was the moment I was trying to get to, right? That was like that was like the thing. I was like, this is gonna be the dramatic moment of the session, right? So, and it didn't matter to me when it got there. I just knew that I just had to make like, it'll just happen. Like I was totally fine with it, right? Yeah. Like she would have maybe downed one of you guys. She would have maybe downed like you, and I gave it a 50% chance. Like eventually you guys would do it, right? Mm-hmm. It was going to be dramatic. I mean, even if a couple people went down, I would have been like, yeah, you guys have enough time. Like, she'll call somebody, but you guys have enough time to pick up all your wounded and get everybody to safety, right? Anyway.
But yeah, like I think what made it better, though, was that tension of just trying to do this one simple thing. Like, even before we knew she had the orb, what we were all caught up with was, can we stop this person? We clearly can't stop them in a direct fight. But we do have their kryptonite right here. Yeah. We just gotta make it work. And I think like the dice created this narrative moment where instead of just throwing it on her and then it works and we go from there, it was something that was incredibly difficult to do as we were all surrounding her and all trying to fight this person all at once.
Yeah. It was cool, man. Like it was one of those like such a good session. I honestly thought it was so awesome because you guys were like, every time someone rolled the dice, you were like, come on, we can end this fight. Come on, no.
Gosh, oh man, that is the those are the things that we'll just talk about for ages. That's one of those moments. Yeah. But yeah, like I do quite like that's one of the things I like about these sort of games is the unpredictability of the moment to moment action. And then having to adapt to it. Like, on one hand, having to adapt to it as a player, like, having to figure out what am I going to do next. And as a GM, like, just describing how things happen when random chances apply to them. Like, more than just success or fail, 5 damage or 7, it's, how does this person, like, deflect the blow? Do they dodge out of the way? Do they take it on the arm or in the leg or in the chest? And does it cut deeply into them? Does it pierce through their armor? How those descriptions play out entirely depends on what the dice decide to give you in that moment. I think that's part of the improv storytelling, the improv collaborative storytelling. I think that is sort of at the core, or at least for me, is sort of at the core of what I like about the game. Like, as much as people enjoy combat and stuff, I think the storytelling within the moment is what I find interesting.
Man, I love the combat.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think there's value in like the gameplay of the game. I just like to see it from a narrative point of view instead of like a game point of view, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think that combat it's just the stakes. That's where the tension is. That's where the drama is. I think there's so much drama and tension in combat, right? Because it's just like, you know, it's just so many things could possibly happen, and then like, you know, your friends go down. There's like hope. There's like sadness, there's like rage, like there's all these emotions when you're like in like a fight for your life, you know what I mean? Like there's like the teamwork, there's like don't worry, we'll never give up kind of like thing that'll happen, right? You know, there's like the rally, like all this stuff can happen in like a fight, and you know, even though we're just throwing math at each other, it's good. It's good fun. And I think everybody really kind of likes, like, I feel like when you say like you don't like combat, I think that it means that combat, like you know, maybe combat isn't dramatic enough for you. Maybe there isn't enough options on the table for you.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that, you know, man, it doesn't matter like what the rules in the book say. Just make up your own stuff and go with it. Like give a very specific, powerful demon net that can capture any demons to your party and see what they do with it.
Yeah, that's really it. Just give your party the world and see what they do with it.
Yeah. They're not gonna do that much crazy stuff with it. Like they won't ruin anything.
No, but they will do something you don't expect. That I can guarantee. Yeah. But yeah, I think we've about exhausted the topic of this. Yeah, I really wanted to recap that session, and we got some good topics out of it. I think maybe we can dive more into them on future episodes. But this episode, I think we can bring into a conclusion.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, again, it was just a really fun sesh. And if you guys want to hear more about our session recaps or how we feel about running games and what we can extrapolate from our games and hopefully use to explain what it's like to be a game master to make it like more approachable for people, which is kind of my intention. I want people to feel less nervous about running games, and if we could just talk about like what it's like what we gain from running them and how it feels to do that and what we sort of learn on the way, then that's my main hope with this podcast. So hopefully that's working, and if it is working, then let us know.
Yeah, I know. We're only humans, right? Exactly. Like we weren't born DMs or believe we're the best or better or whatever. Like we're at one point we were just players like everybody else, and we decided to just be like, I think I could do this. Let me give it a shot.
Yeah,
right.
Every DM you like, whichever mat is your favorite. They all just that was years of running games that got them to that point. So just don't, if you want to be a person who if you want to be a GM, if you want to be a great GM, then don't worry too much about being great on your first go. Just worry about having fun and you'll be great along the way. That's the lesson we'll leave you with today.
Yeah. So you'll be winning with dice.
Aha. And if you want to continue winning with dice, just hit that subscribe button so every time we drop a new video. Ding that bell so you get a notification every Wednesday when we drop a new podcast episode. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Win With Dice just to keep up with the channel or to chat with us. And check out our website, winwithdice.ca, just to see all of our episodes and all the cool, unique stuff we post up there.
Yeah. Well, that's it, I guess.
Yeah. Actually, on our site, because someone was asking about this on Facebook, we when we were doing our Starfinder episodes, I made a bunch of ships out of Lego, and I made minis for them. So if you want to see those pictures, check them out on our website because they're really neato.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Calvin to film some "This is how you make Lego ships" video, which is
just maybe
own a lot of Lego pieces and then put them together as ships. Maybe that's what it is.
Basically, yeah. It's because they're just really small, so I can just make a bunch of them. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to see that, then check out our website and you can see those pictures. yeah, follow us on the socials. That's about everything. So all I have left to say is to remember to keep on winning with dice.
See you guys.
Bye.